Okay guys, here we are. We're all set and ready to go. It's Friday night and we are about 5 minutes away from the match. Where are we in the VP4 US Open? Well, we've got Yamaguchi Taru is sitting in the hot seat. He's in the final, so he's going to have a couple of days off. And he got to the final by beating Bedhead by 16 racks to 10. If we move across to where all the action's going to be, on the one loss side, last night Albinario beat Z Carioca 11 racks to 5, and Albinario is waiting on the winner of the match that we're going to see tonight, which is between Tony Sam and Cobra, which is due to start at the top of the hour at 7 PM. Now that is the sort of one loss side semi-final, if you want to call it that, because waiting for the winner of this match is Albinario, and then the winner of that match is going to play Bedhead to see who gets the final. And difficult to say how this match will go. It could really go either way. Probably, if you go on paper, Cobra's the favourite, if only because he's got a lot more table time than Tony in Virtual Pool 4, but longevity and experience would go in favour of Tony Sam. And it's alternate break and no jump cues. The 9 ball is wild in the break. If it goes in, you win the rack. That's the basic rules. We should be ready to go very shortly. Yeah, we've got another couple of minutes. That match between Yama and Bedhead, it really all came down to the amount of mistakes that Bedhead made over the period of the match, and he made a lot more than Yama, and that was enough. That was just the only difference. Whenever both guys got their chances, they took their chances most of the time, Yama especially, but Bedhead, I thought, made a couple of wrong choices for positional shots, left himself too tough and out to try and clear up, put the pressure on himself more, and well, there was 6 racks difference. He's still in the tournament though. He's still the one I've got my money on, but we've seen that he's going to have to, well, he's still going to have to work hard to get there, because whoever he's going to end up meeting, it's going to be a tough ask. And the winner of this tournament will be a deserved winner, because they'll have beaten all the best in it to get there. So again, a check in the I just had to readjust the quality on my second monitor there on the stream, because it had defaulted to 360 resolution. And anybody that's watching the stream, if your stream quality looks crap, you need to click in the little cog in the bottom of the stream, bottom right hand corner, and adjust the quality that you want. It should be 1080, 60 FPS. Well, right now that room should be about to go up any second, and both players are here. Cobra's the one that's been in for most of the day practicing. The room has gone up. let's dive in and get in before the players. And both players are in, and we're about to lag off. And I can't remember whose cue's what. I think that's Cobra on the right. Well, whoever that was on the right, that's the worst lag they've ever done. And it was Tony. Well, I think he needs to practice his lag. So Cobra's won the lag, and he's breaking off. 6 ball goes into the top right, 2 ball goes into the bottom left. And, well, he's got a very delicate little thin cut if he can make it into the middle. And that cue ball, well, I think he's going to play the combo. And in it goes. Right, we'll just mute Stub again. Oh, he's left. Thank God for that. Well, a little drop on this red here. Doesn't need any power at all. Just send it to the pocket. And he's gone slightly straight. He's going to have to leave this 7 ball long unless he does play the cue ball up to the middle pocket in the left. Well, he's gone around the angles and he's now the wrong side of the 7 ball, and this is where it can go out of shape. Giving himself more work to do straight away here in this first rack. But I think he looks okay. Fairly straight 8 ball. So it's going to be a win in the lag and a break and a run out, by the look of it, by Cobra in the first rack. So he's made his statement early on, his statement of intent. And immediately, because it's alternate break, that puts pressure on Tony Sam for his break. And that's a good start for Cobra. Good evening. And Tony, a good break, gets a ball in the break, but no luck with position. The 6 ball has gone. Now got to think about the push out. Well, he's left Cobra the tempter. The long 1-3 combo. Now does he go for it? I mean, there's a good 2.5 feet between the 2 balls, and he's got no say where this 1 ball's going to end up. So he's thought the wiser move would be keeping it safe, but he could be in trouble here. Tony Sam should be able to punch this 1 ball up the table, and he's tucked it nicely behind the 3, the cue ball. And what Cobra looks like doing is just trying to tie the 2 ball up. I think that's what he was thinking about there, but Looks like it now. Well, it's a ball in hand, but I think all he's done is teed up a 2-8 combo. Let's have a look at that. Well, it will go. That will go. So Tony Sam will have already looked at that and just roll through in the 1. So that was an attempt to tie the 2 and 8 together, but he's just set up the combo. This still isn't straightforward. Well, Tony's got the little angle, and that 2 ball is tight in the rail. And provided he misses the 5, and he's playing right inside English here to check the cue ball, and the problem with that is he hasn't hit it with enough pace because he needed the cue ball to run up past the 5, and he's in trouble, but he's going to probably put Cobra back in trouble here. Just didn't judge the pace in that shot. When you're playing it with inside English to check the angle of the cue ball, you're actually checking the pace in the cue ball as well, and that's why he's left it short. Well, that was a brave move, and he's probably going to pay the price there. It was much easier to tie Cobra up behind a 7, and a bit of a wild shot there by Tony. Not the best tactic. This is going that little bit square again into the blind pocket, and still got to think about the angle that cue ball's running off the 7 to get onto the 9, and that's what can happen. So easy to do that when you start punching that object ball, and this is a let off here for Tony. Cobra knows that. He should have stuck that away, and that was just running too square on the 7 ball that caused it. So the match is all square, and it's Cobra going to be breaking off in rack number 3. Well, that 5 ball might come to Cobra's rescue. Let's have a look. Dry break, and the 5 has blocked Tony in the 1. He would have possibly had a thin cut in that 1 into the top left hand pocket, but he's just going to try and feather the edge of it now. Well, believe it or not, that 1 ball may well squeeze past the 8, but it would be a bit of an aggressive shot if he went for that down the rail. If he plays it at the right pace, he's got a chance of blocking it off though. And decided the safety was a better idea. And that's not bad. Tony's hampered by the 2 ball. Trying to squeeze behind that 7. He's going to have to spin it a bit. And I think he'll be quite happy with that outcome. Oh, very nearly the kick bank, but it's still relatively safe. Tony's got a chance of a decent safety here. Well, he's went to punch the 3 in, but the 1's dropped, and Housy's locking the 2. And I don't think he can get to the potting angle he's going to hit. Well, let me have a look at that better. Yes, he can. little tight angle in this 3, but nothing to do with the cue ball other than concentrate on that 3. Well, this is going to be the crucial one to get good on this 6 ball off the 5. And that's way short, and he's going to have a tough one. He can still see the 6, and that makes it even more difficult getting a shot in this 7, because the 8 ball's blocking it to the pocket here in the bottom corner, and it's tight into the middle, and he's hung it. So already we've had a couple of errors. Well, 2 from Tony, certainly 1 from Cobra. And Cobra's still got the same problem here, getting good on this 7 ball off the 6. And that probably wasn't quite as easy as a cut as it looked from where we were. So it's another chance gone, and another chance for Tony. Now, is he going to be dead in line into the corner? That's pretty good. Same thing again, full concentration in the pot, don't need to worry about the cue ball. Well, he should be worried now because he's pretty straight in the 8, but he just needs to get it punched off the rail. And he'll be able to cut the 9 in, no problem. So a little bit topsy-turvy here in the first couple of racks. Tony had a little wild attempt at a shot. Cobra's missed a couple of pots, and that's really how he's ended up 2-1 behind. 7 ball goes into the top left, something dropped into the middle. It might have been a 3 ball. It certainly was. But no shot in the 1 again. Now, where's the safety here? Well, he could edge that 1. He could just edge it and go that way and try and tuck it behind the 5, but he's went just to push out down in the bottom end, and Cobra might put Tony back in, and it's exactly what he's done. Tony's going to have to deal with his own self-inflicted problem here, and that's a bit heavy. Now, how does the 2 ball look? Well, the 2 ball's tight, but it goes. But you've got to get good on it. He's got to go off that top rail, get the pace right, and try and get a fair line on this 2 ball so he can sight it easy enough. And this is none too easy either. The 4's at the opposite end of the table. He's got an angle, not the best of angles because of the fact that he's having to be careful with this 2 ball. And can he get enough power to get up for the 4? And the answer is no. He's blocked out, and it's an old kick and hope here. If he picks this right though, he could kick the 4 along the rail and past the 9. Well, it's going to be another chance for Tony Sam, and this time the chance to open up the gap. Now with this shot, the normal shot would be you would go to the rail by the middle pocket there where the 8 ball is. That 8 ball's the problem, so he's going to have to probably just draw this and try and avoid the 8 altogether. And he hasn't, and he's actually fell into the trap. He's still got a thin cut. And he'll be happy with that. It's going to be a nasty cut, but provided he doesn't scratch into that right middle pocket, he should be okay. So Tony Sam has been given his chances, and he's come up with a good so far, and he's now leading by 3 racks to 1. Oh, good evening, Keith. Well, for anybody that's just joined us, these two guys are playing on the one lot. Now, that was a 9-ball in the break there by Cobra. These two guys are playing to see who plays Albinario in the one lost side semi-final, if you want to name it as that. And then the winner of that match will play Bedhead, who is in the one lost side final, having lost to Yamaguchi Taru yesterday, who's now in the final. So a quick response from Cobra in rack number 5, the 9-ball in the break, but he's hung up the 1. Now I think Tony can just squeeze past that 4 with a little bit of left and catch that jaw and just clip the 1. Well, no, he couldn't. It was far too deep in the pocket. So it's ball in hand for Cobra. And straight away we can see where the problem lies here. He can do whatever he wants with 1 ball, but that 2 ball is, well, the best he can maybe get out of that's a billiard if he clips the 2. Is he going for the split? Oh, that's unlucky. A delicate attempt at the split there, and he's run in behind the 8-ball, and he's going to have to get lucky here. Well, he's got lucky. 3-ball has gone in, and he's now going to have to just run this 2 in past the 4. He should miss the 5-ball, I think, and then come off the rail. Oh, that was a bit wild, but he's got lucky again. Well, that's too far beyond the middle pocket to cut it in, surely, at that angle where the cue ball is. Well, that was a bit cheeky as well, because he maybe actually tried to nip it in off the 5. And has he got away with it? Not this time. That's a nasty angle. That's why Cobra's probably going to cut it into the middle rather than risking scratching off that 2 if he takes it long into the bottom pocket as we look. Oh dear, what's happening here? What's happening? Well, Cobra's finding all the awkward places right now. Well, when he was in a similar situation, he tried tying up a couple of the balls, and all he did was leave a combo on. So now he's going for the kick. The old kick and hope. Well, that's going to spin out behind a 5. So Tony Sam comes to the table. They're all there. Just got to get the touch in this shot for the 6 good enough, because the problem now is finding a path up to that 7-ball, and the angle in this 6 means that if he puts anything on this cue ball, the path of the cue ball wants to run into that 9 off the rail. He can get lucky and find a gap. Well, in the end he didn't put anything on it, which is why he's ended up there. So now he's got a chance for cover, or he's going all out for the bank, and he's got it. And now a little thin, delicate one, and just drop to the bottom rail here, or out for the 9 into the same pocket. Well, that's a bit of a bonus there for Tony. Cobra tying himself up, and Tony doing his best to get this rack put away, and he's done it. So the gap is opened again. It goes to 4-2. The break goes back to Cobra for rack number 7. Oh, I think Cobra will be relieved there, because that table is wide open, and if that 6 ball hadn't blocked Tony on that one, he'd have been on for the run out. So just to push out. Well, anywhere up by the 9 ball looks a reasonable place to put it. 6 balls blocked in the pocket, and again Cobra's stuck against the 2. He might put Tony back in again. And that's exactly what he's done. Always difficult to judge the contact when you're looking down in the cue ball. Well, the 1 goes. It's going to be a good shot to get on the 2. Well, that's the thing. Cobra doesn't play in a lot of tournaments at all. You usually never see him playing in challenge rooms. But this is where the test of a match player comes, when it comes to the big tourneys. See whether you can hold your nerve and produce the goods when it matters. And that's what I was saying earlier on, that Tony's got plenty of experience that way in the probably 20 years he's been playing virtual pool in its various formats. But Tony himself just does not play anywhere near as much as he used to. And for that matter, we're all in the same boat. We've all got other commitments. Life moves on. But if you still like to knock a few balls about in a virtual game, then virtual pool's still the best. So Cobra at the table has to run out. It's just a short race to 11. And he doesn't want this match to be running away from him. So here's the one that can go wrong. It looks simple enough. Get on that 7 ball and don't block yourself off with 8. And don't try and get too clever either. A little soft draw to that left hand side there would open up the 7, and that would keep it simple. When you try to get too elaborate here, you can dig a hole for yourself. Well, that's what he's done. Now he can drop that 7 in. And if he comes out far enough, if he comes out too far, he can take the 8 into the middle. If he comes out short, he can take it long into this bottom corner here on the right hand side. Or he can go all around the angles, but I think he's playing it the gentle way. So he's a little bit in between again. This is this little tester. He's not looking directly into the pocket. But you'd still expect him to get this. So this for 4-3. And the break goes back to Tony Sam in rack number 8. And another wing ball flies into the top right hand corner, but no luck. And this is why the alternate break is such a hindrance for you. You get a ball in the break, you don't get a position. There's so much emphasis in getting a ball in the break and being able to run out to try and make the most of your chance when you get it. Well, Tony's pushed out and he's left a teaser there for Cobra. Now, again, there's an easy safety on here. And I don't think he's got it, has he? No, he hasn't. That's wide open. And that cue ball has to run. Now, has it gone far enough? Can he actually make enough of that one ball to get it in off the jaw? I think the best he could get is pushing it to that far jaw and it dropping in. He might kind of chicken out and not want to risk fouling the 6. I think he's going to bank it up the table. Well, it's hard to say whether he attempted to pot there. I'm assuming he attempted to pot the way he's left that position in the 1 here. But it's another chance for Tony. Not easy to get good on this 3 from where he's sitting. And he's going to have to run. He's blocked himself off. He's going to have to kick this with left English on that rail to actually make the angle. Well, he got that all wrong. Well, Cobra is coming to the table again, ball in hand. And a chance to tie the match up. Has to leave that angle in the 3 to punch it along the rail and get the cue ball over to the left hand side for the 4. And the other problem is that 5 ball. The 5 ball, well, he's got plenty of angle there to drop in behind the 5 and get it past that 8 ball. Well, Tony Sam's had the 2 rack gap, but it's been pinched back here by Cobra. And he looks like tying the match up at 4 racks all. And if the first 8 racks are anything to go by, we might be going all the way here. And the break goes back to Cobra. So, desperate for a ball in the break and desperate for position for at least a shot. 6 ball has gone into the top left. And he's got no shot in the 1. Well, here's my line for safety. cut that one. I'll get my doodle thing with a straight line. Cut the one that way so it goes there. Cue ball there, there, and there. Well, Cobra, I think, well, did he plan on using the 2 as a blocker? I think he's got away with it. There's no way that 1 ball's going in. So a little delicate one trying to tuck that. Oh, he squeezed it in. Well, that was a good shot. There's no way my eyes would have allowed me to play that shot. I would have never been able to see that line into the pocket. An excellent shot, but needs another good one. Well, he's got the thin cut. Well, this will be a good out for Tony Sam if he gets it. Oh dear. Well, he wants to marry right up to that. That's probably the best outcome he could expect there. Got that far too thin. Once again, a chance of a decent safety here. I don't know whether he's lining up the pot and punching off the rail to try and get across for the 4. Well, he definitely did. And this time he could pay the price. I think, well, there's always times to make a move and times to rein it in a bit and try and keep it tight. The one thing you don't want to be doing at this stage is losing racks because of your own mistakes. Now that's just gone a bit further again, so I don't know whether he's going to try and hold this. It looks too much an angle. Yep, he's going to have to run. And that is not the best positional shot you're ever going to see. If he tries to cut that thin, a very high risk of scratching. And of course, the inevitable happens. Well, a blind man with a wooden leg and 1 arm could see that one, Tony. Commentator's eye, it has to be said. So Tony shot himself in the foot there. Got himself out of line, and then once you get yourself out of line, you're in trouble. Well, that hasn't worked out. So Cobra is into the lead by 5 racks to 4. And that goes down as a blown chance there for Tony Sam. Now this should be fairly simple to get distance between the cue ball and the 1 ball. But Tony's not risking it. Well, the simple answer to that question is the fact that nobody knows about Virtual Pool 4. Simple as that. And it's the same as even less people know about. I mean, the one thing that Virtual Pool 4's gone for it is it's had longevity in the whole series. You've had, since 1995, you've had Virtual Pool, Virtual Pool 2, Virtual Pool Hall. You had Virtual Pool Snooker early on, Virtual Snooker early on as well. You've had Virtual Pool in various formats on the PlayStation. you've had Virtual Pool on the Xbox, neither of which would have done great anyway, because the thing with this game is, it's unlike a normal game you would get on a PC or you know, a console. It's self-gratification that folk want. That's why most people that play Virtual Pool play it offline. They play it offline because they want the success against an AI, which, if you've ever played the AI, they're either impossible to beat or they're a bunch of numpties that just bang balls all the time. And people want gratification, they want success, and they find that they'll get that offline if they're playing in the Pro Tour events in the game and all that sort of stuff. Whereas what Virtual Pool demands of you, if you're going to be successful online, is that you actually take the time to learn the art of the game of billiards, how to put English in a cue ball, how to control the ball, and how to be successful and string balls together. The thing about Virtual Pool is it's a learning process, and I've been learning this game for 20 years. And also, what you learn in real life, whether it be playing 9-ball in real life, any kind of billiard or pool or snooker game, you can bring that to this game. Most certainly you can. But the main thing is, games like Yahoo Pool and all these, that 8-ball game that you see advertised in the television, they get millions of people playing it because it's just a simple top-down game, and it doesn't demand a great deal of skill. Whereas to be successful in this game, it demands skill, and it demands control. It demands everything that you have in the real life game, only in a virtual format. And a lot of folk come online and they can't hack it. They find it too difficult. They don't have the aiming lines. You know, there's a whole bunch of reasons why there's still only a group of 50 odd people who sort of regularly play this game. I could go on for hours. You've got me started. I could sit here for 2 hours and go on about all the reasons. Virtual Pool 4 has little or no advertising. When Virtual Pool 3 was published by, what do you call them again, Interplay, they at least had a promotional video for the game. It was endorsed by Jeanette Lee. This game hasn't had any promotional stuff like that, other than any local stuff that Steve Chaplin did when he was over in California. Because you don't see it promoted anywhere. You see it on a couple of the websites that are sponsors of the game, but apart from that, you don't see it anywhere. So not enough people know about the game. I mean, this is why the thing that puzzles me is why there are about 3 or 4 Chinese people, or at least people here with Chinese flags, who play the game, and with like 1.5 billion Chinese people, why is it we haven't got at least 100,000 of them in playing this game online? Anyway, back to the match. We're tied up at 5-all. We've got Cobra at the table, and he's got a chance to go back into the lead here, as long as he squeezes past the 8-ball. And that was a delicate little shot, because if he hit that any harder, he would have blocked himself out by the 8-ball. Well, just a simple roll in again. So Cobra is halfway home and leading by 6 racks to 5. The break has gone back to Tony Sam, and the pressure is on. And he's come up dry, but it's a bit of an ugly table in the top left-hand corner, so... Well, Cobra his best bet here is looking for the safety. There's plenty of cover up the top end of the table, and he's got an angle in the 1 to do that. He can send a cue ball somewhere up the top left hand corner, and if he can squeeze it between the 9 and the 6 and tuck this 1 ball down in the left hand corner, that's what he's tried. He's avoided the 6, he's clipped it, and he's played an excellent safety. Straight out the snooker book of safety shots, that one. Well, that actually almost was a very good safety there, a very good kick. Now, there's still no immediate reason for alarm here because Cobra's chances of running this table are fairly slim. 2 ball blocked off by the 5 and the 7. So he's doing his best to get there. Well, just a bit too much juice on it. It was not a bad effort. And he's probably going to line up this cut. If he gets this 2 and gets on the 3, this could be a crucial rack. Considering the position the 2 ball was stuck in and what he had to do to get there. And he's sitting nice in the 3. Just a gentle pot and off the rail and out. And he can drop right in behind the 7. A little draggy draw, nothing major. And he's got a nice enough angle to come off the rail. He can either, well, he's probably going to go to the right side of the 9 because he's too close to the rail. So this is going to turn out to be quite an important rack, I think, because where that 2 ball was sitting and the angle he left when he got that cue ball over to the 2, that's a well-deserved rack there for Cobra. And that is a signature of intent. So Tony knows now he's going to have to really get his game on, and he's going to have an immediate chance to respond here because Cobra scratched on the break. Ball in hand, and it's, well, the 1 will, he can just cheat it off the rail, but playing it at that angle, very easy to chip the 7. He's managed to do it. Well, the pressure's on here. It looks simple enough. Now, if I was Tony, when he plays this 5 ball and the angle he's got to be careful of that 7 ball. Oh, managed to avoid it. Could easily have chipped it there and blocked himself off. Well, nothing brave here. Just totally focus on the 7 again. Cue ball does the rest itself. Well, that was a lucky break for Tony. That scratch in the break by Cobra when he had a chance to really force the issue with a 2-rack lead, but it's back to 1. Well, the main reason it's not promoted is he doesn't have a publisher. Steve Chaplin had to buy the rights back for the Virtual Pool franchise from Interplay when they went out of business, and that cost him however many $100,000. So there goes your promotional budget straight away. And well, that's a bad miss by Tony. And so basically Steve Chaplin, apart from the fact he's had a couple of people working on the graphics, and the other guy that he's got, well, I don't know whether he's still working for him now, but the guy that was fixing bugs and stuff and fixing the website, he's been paying wages out to them. So he just doesn't have the financial budget without a backer to pay for the promotional side of the game, which is why you don't have advertising. So if you go onto Facebook or any places like that, or any other game sites, you don't see Virtual Pool 4 advertised. Well, a bad mistake by Tony. This looks a bit awkward here. That's fairly straight. And Cobra is taking his medicine. He's lined up the bank. It looks a good bank. A direct bank or a double bank. Either way, it's like 9 out of 10 this should go in. But he's going to need another good one on this 5. This is tough. And he can't baby this in, because that cue ball either has to fall short of the 9 on this side of the 9, or he has to make sure he gets over that side of the 9. He can't be mixed up. He has to be sure about what he's doing. And he's gone to the right side. So just a, well, I think he's a bit straight. That's the problem. He could just trickle it in and leave the 9 across into this middle here where the donut is. Well, Cobra is defending his lead, and he's stretching it back to 2 racks. And that's a chance gone for Tony Sam. And it's 8-6, and Cobra just needing another 3, and he's back to the break. In rack number 15. 3 balls going in. And the 5 has gone, and he's got a toughie in the 1 ball. But he can actually come off the right rail and back out for this 2 if he can get enough into it. Well, anything but going too far. Somewhere down here would be fine for the 6. And this is where he's got a problem, because I don't think he can avoid hitting the 9. Can he? Can he squeeze behind that 9? And any hit on the 9, you would think he's going to have no shot in the 7. Or what he is going to have is going to be tough. Well, run into the 9 ball twice, and he's right in the middle of no man's land. This is an all-out bank, and send the cue ball running around the angles, avoiding the 9 and getting back up for the 8, and banking that 9 into the left or right middle. And that's exactly what he's done, but he's going too far. Where's the cue ball ending up? Well, here's a pressure shot. Now, if he hits this plain ball, I don't think he can scratch. And now the reason I say that is the angle he had, he still wanted to put a wee bit of left on that just to change the angle of the cue ball so it came more that direction off the rail, rather than going that direction, which left him high on the 9. Regardless of that, he missed the 8, but that's why he wanted to play it more plain ball to avoid the risk of scratching, and he's paid the price there. And Tony Sam is taking that chance, and he's still trailing by 1. And he's came up dry, and with that 4 ball hanging over the pocket, is Cobra even going to attempt a jump? We saw what Yamaguchi Taru did in that match yesterday. He played a jump that I thought was impossible, especially with the playing cue, and pulled it out the bag. An absolute beauty. But Cobra not prepared to have a go. He's deciding he's going to give ball in hand, and he's immediately done what a few players have done. They've said, well, there's the balls there, let's see if you can run out. Now, somebody explain to me, am I out of sync here? Now, what the hell happened here? Anybody watching that? Can somebody explain to me what Tony Sam did there? That's why I'm thinking that I'm out of sync. That was the strangest shot I've ever seen. I am totally confused. That's as if he hit a shot when he didn't even intend to hit a shot. Well, I don't know what the hell he's done. He certainly lost something. It could be even worse. He could be losing the rack here. That's tight, that 3 ball. And look at where the 5 is. And that's a good shot. Oh, this is unmissable as long as you follow the line of where the 5 ball wants to go to that jaw. You'll nudge that 7 in every time. I wish I had been paying a bit more attention to what was happening there, because I'm still flummoxed as to what Tony Sam was doing there. But it's at the crucial time in the match. Cobra, just the 3 balls left to be 9-7 up. And it's going to be 9-7. So we have the 2 rack gap, and just 2 racks is all that's needed by Cobra. And he too has come up dry. And there's nothing going to be easy now for Tony Sam. He's got a thin cut into the left middle. And he's going to have another tough shot on this too. Well, he could try potting that too direct, but it's got to be straight on that line to the pocket. If it hits anything, it won't go in. And the combo's even tougher. Well, it did hit the 7, but it still had enough on it to get in the pocket. That's a good shot. And the 4 squeezes past the 8. And he's just going to have to squeeze between the 8 and the 5 to take the 5 into this bottom left here. dear. Well, for some reason he wanted to play the 5 into the middle with the wrong angle on the 5. Why did he not just roll the 4 in and roll between the 8 and the 5? He'd have been on the 5 into this bottom pocket. If he'd finished there, he'd had the 5 into the corner. And that was getting between, I don't know. Well, I keep going back to keeping it simple. If the simple shot's on, then at this stage in the game, that's the one you play. Unless you're absolutely desperate and you have no option. But he had an option there, and he chose the wrong one. And it's going wrong for Tony Sam at the wrong time, folks. Cobra with a chance to be within 1 of facing off with Albinario. Just another little delicate one, or if he wants to be sure, get it up and down the table. Again, you have to be clear in your mind what you're doing. If you try and baby this in, you can easily just tuck it and hang it. Well, he's got it. So it's now 10-7 to Cobra. Tony Sam has the break, and it's the point of no return. He's come up dry, and he's left a 1 on with an angle to drop behind the 2, and it could be all over. Now, he's going to be playing the 2 from this left-hand side here. And as long as he avoids the traffic, he should have some sort of shot in this 3 ball. But the difficulty is avoiding that 8 ball if he's going to go forward. If he's going to stun it off the rail, the cue ball's going to come up near the 4 and 5, so he's got to manoeuvre it. Well, if it hadn't clipped at 9, it would have still had enough pace on it to get good on this 3. Now, what's he doing? He could be lining up the bank. It looks a reasonable enough bank. And that's clean. Perfect. But it's going to have to be another good one. He's got the thin cut in the 4 into the middle, or he can stun it into the bottom corner here. Send that cue ball to the right rail. He looks as if he's putting a lot of draw in this. Nope, just played the stun, and the old stun shot's done it again. Sent it offline a fraction into the jaw, and they don't go. So this is Tony Sam's last chance. Well, straight away, he's left it tough. Well, he's got to go for it in the corner, because he's going to be drawing down for this 6 ball. And has he got lucky? Well, I think I've got a sneaking suspicion Cobra's going to go for this. That's an excellent shot. Little tricky one in the 6, but he's got two choices. He can draw back off the rail out into the table for the 7 in the same pocket that way, or he can go forward and around the corner out behind the 7. Well, from the halfway mark onwards in this match, it's all gone downhill for Tony Sam. The errors crept in, and he's paying the price big time. And no risks taken by Cobra. Just a straight roll in the 9 for the match. And in it goes. And Cobra wins the match by 11 racks to 7. And we'll have one last look at the bracket. And we'll see that the bracket is very quickly updated. And the deadline date for this match is the 10th of January. What the hell's the day's date? Is this the 6th or the 7th? I'm losing track. No, it's the 5th. So they've got 5 days to arrange their match, and that will be between Cobra and Albinario. And the winner of that match will play Bedhead to decide who goes to the final. So there you go, folks. A good run by Tony Sam, but it all came to an end and all crashed and burned in the second half of that match. And Cobra's through. So with that, I'll thank you for your company. Thanks for watching. And I'll be trying to find out when Cobra and Albinario are going to play their match. I hope it's going to be evening time rather than some stupid time early in the morning, UK time that is. That way I'll be able to get it. So once I get an update of that, I'll have that marked up on the stream channel as and when I get that information. But until then, folks, thanks again, and we will see you, no doubt, very